Hi there, and welcome to another episode of what is fast becoming your favorite podcast, Sip and Talk.
I really like it.
My name is Ify.
And of course, my name is Kel. Cheers.
So today we're going to be talking about modern day truths that are being passed across as reality, when in reality I believe it's quite false. I mean, in my opinion. So I think we're going to be talking about individually like what truths we're seeing across social media, because as you know, we're seeing so many podcasts, not including ours because ours is special. So many podcasts these days where
defund some podcasts.
In fact,
defund because some things I've been seeing like.
I think like one of the things that I've seen recently is the discouragement of people aspiring to marriage and now embracing, you know, being baby mamas or that singleness all throughout their lives. Now, please don't get me wrong. Okay, I understand that life comes in seasons. And I appreciate that there is a point in your life where you are a single man or you're a single woman. But where now people are making it seem as if what you should aspire to is away from seeking and desiring one to be with, you know, for the rest of your life and just wanting to start a family on your own.
And it's just like, oh, just do it because why should you want to be beholden to someone else? Not just do it because you want to, because there's some people who legit don't want companionship.
Exactly.
But they want, you know, to raise kids. They want to have a kid or kids, which is fine. If you sit well, you think through it and you can afford it.
Yeah.
Because kids are expensive, and I'm talking money. Yes, you cannot raise kids on air and affirmations.
And affirmations.
You need money. You know, so it's like, if it's something that you genuinely want to do, sit with it, ask yourself why, the pros, the cons, can you handle it? Don't just want to do it because, oh, I look up to this person and this is what they said. It doesn't make any sense.
And honestly speaking, Kel, you know, like you mentioned, if you want to do it, but I personally, based on, you know, my background in psychology and understanding the diversity of roles that a man and a woman, you know, bring to the table, I don't necessarily encourage wanting to raise kids in a single parent home because it's a difficult thing to do. Very difficult. Now, I do understand that there are structures that allow you, especially when you have, you know, support from your family. It's not everybody that has that. Do you get what I mean? And there is a role where a guy, especially like a male child, for instance, that, you know, sees their father as a role model and the girl sees her mother as a role model. This will be your first example of a role model when you grow. So it is a very difficult place to be. And I've seen, and you know, you probably hear it from, you know, single mothers, baby mamas, is difficult, especially when they're now seeking a male friend or a male family member to then fill the role of father or to be that, you know, masculine figure in the mix of things. It's a very difficult space to be. If you are desirous of marriage, first of all, if you're desirous of companionship, it is a normal and natural thing.
Yeah.
With and I would always like to use, you know, psychology as a way to just like explain certain things. You know, one of the, you know, most pivotal theories in psychology is by Abraham Maslow, who's a very key figure in psychology. He spoke about every human being having a set of needs. You know, it's a basic set of needs. From the basic needs, which are physiological needs, like needs for you to want to breathe, of course, because if not, you die. You know,
Maslow's is a pyramid of...
yes, so it's hierarchy of needs, yes. Exactly.
It's a pyramid.
It's a pyramid, exactly,
Yeah,
with self-actualization being at the top.
things.
I like that. So, you know, with the physiological needs, and then you have the safety and security needs, and then you have the love and the belonging needs. You know, that need for you to have that intimacy with someone, have family, have friends. So what's interesting is I do understand the parts about like the, you know, love and the belongingness and intimacy, but even beneath that particular hierarchy or beneath that particular, you know, level of needs, it says security, and part of security is family. Having that stability there. So it's a natural thing. If you want to be if you want to be married, if you want to have a husband, if you want to have a wife, I don't know that you should be dissuaded. I don't know that people should tell you to stop being as excited, because when people talk about marriage this or God when, and people try to discourage, it shouldn't be something that you should, because it's a natural thing. So I personally, with these different podcasts and these different conversations being had, where some women who aspire to marriage and they think that for them marriage is an achievement, let no one ever make you think that it is not.
And I would also say, in the same vein, on the opposite side of the table, don't make anybody make you feel like you have to look at it as an achievement if that is not what you desire.
True.
Because the thing is, I believe that we're all individuals for a reason. There's no one size fits all for anything. People want different things that are valid to them. Like you mentioned, is that people want what other people are telling them to want, without asking themselves, okay, what do I
really want? Yes.
Do I want to be married? Do I not want to be married? Do I want to have kids? Do I not want to have kids? Because I remember a friend of mine was saying one day that, she's getting to the point where she doesn't really believe in marriage anymore and she just wants to have a kid. And everybody's like, no. I'm like, but what she's saying is valid. If she doesn't want to be married, if she just wants a kid, then let her do it. If you sit with it and you actually weigh that, because it's not a light decision to make, bringing a child into this world, whether you're married or not. Yeah. Because if you're married, so if you and your husband have to ask yourselves,
absolutely,
are we ready for it financially, emotionally, mentally? Because it's going to be a whole lot of energy and effort. So let's even leave them. I think the money is even the least of it, because you have to ensure that you're not just throwing money at the child and letting someone else raise your own child. Because if you don't raise your own child, what principles are you passing on to the child?
Absolutely.
It's not just about paying school fees, it's about making sure the child is fed. So all of those things are very important. So my own is, what do you want out of life for yourself?
Another thing that this is where I want to get your take as well. Listen, guys, I personally don't believe that sex is just sex and casual sex. I don't believe in casual sex. I don't believe that exists. I don't believe that.
We've had this conversation before.
I know, right, Liz?
But
I don't believe that there is anything called casual sex, guys. Stop, throwing that around as if it's truth. I don't believe
it is. It is.
I don't think so.
For the fact that me and this person have casual relations today, or we have sexual relations today, it doesn't mean that anything is connecting us tomorrow.
You know why I beg to differ?
Why?
Right. And I'm so sorry if I sound like a professor. I have my background in psychology, so I always like to use psychological principles because this literally describes human behavior. Now, there was a study that was done by a psychologist who happens to also be a Christian. His name is Daniel Amen, right? And he spoke about the structure of the brain, right? So we have the limbic system, which is in charge of your memories, your emotions, and your arousal, right? And he did say that if two individuals come together and they think sex is just casual sex, this is what they think, but you can't necessarily, if your brain is wired a certain way, if there's biology and there's psychology, you can't really change these things. Do you get what I mean? So on one hand, you're thinking and hoping that it's one thing. On the other hand, the way your body was created or the way your mind was created will function as is. Do you get what I mean? And anytime that two individuals come together in sexual intercourse, right, there are neurochemical changes that engage or that encourage like limbic emotional, bonding. That's what he called it, limbic emotional bonding. And that's why he said, if these things come together, of these things take place where you're having these neurochemical changes in your mind, it forms an attachment. And forming that attachment, right? And then tomorrow, saying that you and this person are not going to be together, or you and this person are not going to, maybe have any relationship, or it's nothing long term. There is a conflict going on in your brain that you don't know. So on one hand, you've told your brain over the years that it's casual sex because like I said, in your limbic system takes care of memories as well.
So why doesn't that happen when you're dating somebody?
What do you mean by why doesn't it happen?
Because you mentioned casual sex. Yeah. So what about when you're dating somebody and you're intimate with that person and then things happen, you guys break up? Does that still affect you too as well?
It does. That's what I'm trying to say. It does. And, and that's the reason why I also don't want to, because based on my own, background or whatever, I personally, based on my spirituality or Christianity, I would always say, stay till marriage, because we talk about soul ties, and even within this study by Dr. Daniel, he also used that and linked it to soul ties as well, and described it as having like two pieces of wood and putting like a glue on the wood, and you put it together, you stick it, and immediately you rip it apart. And that's how it happens when you sleep with this person today, you rip it apart, sleep with that person today, rip it apart. So that's like a conflict that's going on in your brain, and that's the reason why a lot of people may not know that there's certain things that happen to your emotions as a person that you don't necessarily know that it's linked to the casual, quote unquote, sex that you've been having here, there, and there. And that's the reason why it's always encouraged that this thing called sex should be within the confines of marriage. Now, I'm not saying that marriages, sometimes don't break up, or things don't happen, or there aren't issues that will cause a breakup. But that's the way the human brain works. And that's the reason why if you keep doing this over and over and over and over again, just imagine how many ripping aparts and how many, conflicts that you keep on engaging your brain in with the way your brain is wired, where you're having this intercourse with this person and then there's no emotional, continuity. In the case of maybe if you're married or whatever the case might be. So based on the study that and you could go read up on it, based on that study and the way your brain is wired and what happens when you're having sexual intercourse, and you do that every day with different people. That's the reason why I feel to a large extent you see a trail of people who are broken, who are hurt, who have emotional disruptions here and there, where they don't even know why today I'm feeling this way, tomorrow I'm feeling that way. And you ask them questions like, is it your job? Is it your this? And they can't really point up or put a finger on it. This is what I believe. Okay, do you get what I mean?
Let me speak on my own study. Okay. My own study is personal experience. The danger for me is when you actually have an emotional connection to the person you're being physical with. That's for me. Because to be honest, I feel like casual sex is the easiest thing you can ever do. Because if it's somebody that you have an emotional entanglement with, whether you are dating them, whether you are trying to figure out what type of relationship you're having or whatever, it tends to linger. Like you tend to just keep thinking about them over and over again. You tend to overanalyze everything and every interaction you have. Like there's just that extra added on baggage that comes with emotional connections. I've successfully had a friends with benefits situation that not one person ever even tried to say, oh, maybe we should. Like it was not even like we were just meeting up and, connecting private, we talk, we just were friends, but not at one point in time did anybody say, no, I think I like you. Maybe we just go on that date. But that's the
thing, Kel. I don't think it's about liking the person or not.
And why? For me, it's the emotional connection that makes it even more fearsome.
So you know what I'm saying. Let me explain to you the way your brain is wired. If it functions like, for instance, if water is supposed to pass through a hole, whether or not you decide that you want the water to pass through the hole, it will pass through the hole because it was structured that way. Now, that's where the conflict comes in, because you've grown up based on maybe pop culture or what you saw as regular and, something normal based on the environment you grew up in, where people tell you that it's just casual sex. You're picking things from the person, things that you would start.
Big money,
because money is not. Is it emotional? Money is physical. So check it out. Don't learn your behaviors or habits based on what pop culture is saying. It's always best for you to sit back. Stop sipping like that. It's always best for you to sit back and actually dig deep into these things. You are a spiritual being. All right, that's all we have for you on Sip and Talk for today. My name is Iffy.
My name is Kel, and like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends to tell your friends to Sip and Talk.